going on to exercise 3.3, which is a homework assignment, which means what, guys?
You get a freebie.
So we're going to start, those of you who have your book, read it there. I've got it up here. Missing data can be derived and journal entries constructed from information in the accounts. The following schedule shows the amounts related to supplies that a city debited and credited to the indicated accounts during a year, not necessarily the year-end balances, excluding closing entries. The city records its budget, encumbers all of its expenditures, and initially vouchers all payments. All revenue was collected in cash. Some information's missing. By reconstructing the entries that the city made during the year, you're going to determine the missing data and construct the journal entries in summary form, excluding closing entries. We see cash of 117, credits of, we're not sure. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to do cash 117 question mark. Okay, so estimated revenues, this one is question mark, over here 0, revenues 0, this is a question mark, vouchers payable, this is 70, this is 54, appropriations 0, question mark, encumbrances, question mark, 58, expenditures, question mark, 0, reserve for encumbrances, 93, question mark, fund balance, 115, 120. Okay, these are all of our debits and credits, okay? So let's start by talking about when we record the budget. You know, we don't have all of our figures. Let's just kind of pick things apart. When we record the budget, as you saw in the slides, we're going to debit estimated revenues. We're going to credit estimated appropriations, right? Right? And what is our other credit? Fund balance, right? But let's just keep it simple. Let's just worry about estimated revenues. So the first journal entry we know we need to do is estimated revenues of 120, and we know then we'd have fund balance unassigned of 120, don't we? Don't we know that? Okay, that would help us come up with estimated revenues of 120, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Because that and this fund balance of 120 would correlate. Now, the next one we're going to look at, the appropriations. The appropriations show that we don't know what the appropriations, the money's going out. But if we know that these are the debits and credits of the transactions, we're just missing others. If we know that we've got a debit fund balance of 115, well, that must mean our appropriations are going to be 115, right?
Because they always go together? Or?
Because in a perfect world, the way they're trying to make us do is think harder.
We're not thinking harder.
Because they're giving us debits and credits. So we have to go, okay, if this thing was credited, why? Well, the fund balance of 120 was credited because they debited estimated revenues of 120. You know how everything's got to equal. The fund balance was debited for 115. Why? Because when they recorded the budget of appropriations, they credited appropriations of 115. They debited fund balance. Monies in were revenues, estimating. Monies out, appropriations. See how we're trying to piece apart how it happened. Okay? Make sense? We're not having a problem like this on the test. How many of you guys got my study guide? You didn't check your email this morning. Everyone got it. I wasn't being favorable to certain people.
Even on a computer. I just printed mine out.
No,
That's what we should be going through.
I put it in the, is this okay? Is it too bright? Yeah, like it?
Good, it's fine.
Easy for them to say. Are you okay, guys? So basically, Judy, I have a study guide. And what I did is I gave you the questions that will be exactly in the test, but I didn't give you the multiple choice answers. So for example, if I showed in there, how do I explain it? Like, oh gosh, I can't even think right now. Do you guys have a question? Here, can I see it? So for example, during the previous year, Bain County closed its encumbrance account. At the end of the previous year, there were $5,000 in outstanding purchase commitments. To restore these commitments to the account, which of the entries would be required? So I'm not giving you guys all the multiple choice opportunities. I'm trying to teach you to study it. So that way when you do it, but these are identical. The two problems, which we might go through here, these are the two problems. You're only going to get one of them. But you can work them out before you even take the test. So, they're journal entries. It's not this guess stuff. Make sense?
Okay.
Are we happy?
I know what would help me, I mean, I couldn't, without this study class, I couldn't get this at all. And I think something else that would help is, like, when I go through the problems, if we had like just a odd or even, some
That,
kind
you
of
told me that
answers.
line. You know what? I'm so sorry.
Because like, if I look at problem 3-1, I couldn't even start
You know what?
to tell you that I'm supposed to break it out into like a balance sheet.
Thank you.
Where if I
I
had
agree.
something to look at,
You told me that and I forgot.
and I can if I can have an example, then I can figure it out.
Carmen, your
maybe.
wish is my command. Okay? I will post those. I am sorry.
But not, it doesn't, if you can just even or odd or whatever, but.
It doesn't hurt for me to give you, absolutely. I will give you everything that's not the homework. Well, and you get the homework, guys, once you submit it, and then you go back and fix it.
Yeah, but it's even getting to the point to submit it.
Solutions
I mean, I could submit a blank, when I use this. It's
I will give you those.
whoa.
Yeah.
But like, then it would help, cause like when we were adding those.
Absolutely.
70,000.
Carmen,
plus
thank
20,000,
you.
I know where they're getting it from and I can kinda figure that out, but.
Perfect. I will do that, Carmen. Okay, so this appropriations one we didn't know, we now know the answer is 115, right? Okay, so then let's move on here. We have estimated expenditures of 55. Okay, why do we have that? Fund balance unassigned. Oh, I'm in the wrong. Okay, cash and revenues. What do we see our cash at?
175.
Well, that means monies came in. Where does that mean the monies came in from?
Revenues.
Revenues. So we know that we're going to have a cash of 117 and revenues of 117, right? What about this reserve for encumbrances? When we go and we have a purchase order and purchase something, we're going to have encumbrances for 93 and our credit. How come I can't get this to? And our credit is going to be reserve for encumbrances of 93. Won't it? Based on up here?
Well, the reserved encumbrance.
See, reserved for encumbrances is 93. We know this encumbrance number is going to be 93. Then we've got this vouchers payable of 54,000. What happens when we have a vouchers payable? What does that mean the journal entry would show? Expenditures of 54, and we would have vouchers payable of 54. Then, if we've got encumbrances credited at 58, it would be a reserve for encumbrances over here. We'll go through problems. This will make it so much easier. Reserve for encumbrances of 58. Reserve for encumbrances. And then encumbrances. That's when our the purchase order has come in and we're clearing it out. An encumbrance basically holds that money and it commits it to be used for that purchase order. Once it comes in, we're going to zero that out. And then our vouchers payable of 70,000 in cash. So you see how we have a vouchers payable of 70? What does that mean? If we debit vouchers payable, what do we have to credit? Cash. So then we're going to have our vouchers payable of 70 and our cash is going to be 70, right? Right, guys? Okay, let's go over a problem. Guys, take this and just work with it. Sit on it, and it will start making sense as we go through some of these other problems. The key is, if there's a debit, what's the credit? So they're giving us some of the items. We're trying to figure out what is associated with various transactions. Okay? Let's go to the next problem.